works even better with mute off, I think. So yes, I am David from PhotoPixel. I've been working on this CommandBox game for a while now, and last stream I was still messing around with the GraphUI package. I've set positions of connections. I'm trying to get the basic drag connection point working. And I was halfway there last time, so I'm going to jump straight across to that. And so here we are. So I might zoom in a bit on this. So basically what I've done here is I've made a just a UI object, just something that has a rect transform. Just get the magnifier open. And get rid of the playing message. And oh, the other thing is I think I can change the settings there so that I actually get a sound. Let's see. It's not in the appearance section, is it? I don't think so. That's something I wanted to do, so I might Google that just quickly. Somewhere here. Oh, problem is it's sponsored, which means it's not actually the top result. But maybe it has. Downloadable can, web-based cannot. So does this count as a downloadable or web? Because this is the one that comes with OBS. All right, so does Restream OBS use web chat or desktop? Okay, that looks like it's going to take a bit too long to fix for the moment. I'll just try to notice chats. Yeah. Because as usual, I'm tired and slightly as usual. I've got more things on than usual. Yes. So I'll figure that thing out later. And looks like I've got about an hour for this stream. Right, so what I've got here is I've got this thing that has a rect transform, and I've got it connected to this graph node with a connection. So you can see their connection point is connected. I was fiddling a bit with the weight of that, but essentially now if I move this connection point around, I get a line that moves with it. And so I can have this thing sitting here with the possible output connection sitting just there or somewhere relative to that. And I just want to make it so that the input points that another thing has. That's not what I want to do. We'll accept the drop of this on there, and then it will connect this to that. So basically, this acts as something that can already be connected that allows it to kind of stretch out the wire for that. So that's the basic idea, and that's what all this stuff is about. Well, not that bit. That bit's just a note of something else you can do. But here, I need to figure out how to drag the end of a connection. And this is what I've done. Single object with direct transform that follows the mouse on click and drag. Well, yeah, so I've got that thing being draggable now. And it is the target for the connection, not just while dragging. So that's the connection point. So I've got one connection point right now. I've connected that. I've allowed drag and drop. Now I guess I'm up to here. So I need to snap the connection point back to position on drop when it's not on a target. So that'll be an interesting thing to coordinate because there's going to be the detection on the drop target, which will be like the input. You drag this from an output and it'll drop onto an input. That will detect that drop. So that's the one thing. And then the other thing is the in the drag and drop handler. So I've got this draggable icon script. So I can take a look at that. There it is. Okay, so we've got drag handler, begin drag handler, and end drag handler. And here in end drag handler, where is that? On end drag is what you get from that interface. So this is doing some stuff. Yeah, transform.position equals original position. Sets it back to being a raycast target. Interesting. So if it has a parent, the parent gets informed as well. That's basically for things that, yeah, do interesting things. I won't go into that right now. That's the bit that moves it. And I think basically it's not hitting this code anymore. I just left it there in case the other implementation didn't work. We'll clean it up eventually. And that's some stuff that sort of helps the drag to work well. All right. So yeah, basically there's nothing, well, other than this. So it should be on drag. We've got our original position. When is that getting set? I'll begin drag, I guess. Yeah, original position gets set, and then we do set it back. So, all right, so that means it will always want to snap back already, and that's probably good because I do want it to snap back to its position. But then I might want to do something else as well if the connection gets connected to something else. Like I might want to disable that this connection point so that it doesn't appear when the connection is present. or something like that. We'll see. So I'm not sure if I actually got that working. Should just check. Do I have anything going on here? Make a bit more room for this. So there's my thing. And it doesn't seem to be working to drag it. I've also got some debugging there that I need to get rid of. But yeah, not something I can click and drag. So that means something's not gone right with that. But let me just go to where this logging's happening and get rid of that. Is that the same thing? I think it probably is. So that's a draggable icon. Let's just see where. Are there any child types? So the draggable icon parent that can get child begin and end drag. There's a command brush that requires draggable icon. Wait, what? Oh, I see. Draggable icon parent and draggable robopart parent. Basically the same, but a different type. I guess that could be if that was a generic interface that was draggable icon or draggable robopart. That'd be interesting. Yeah, I want to find an example of something that has a draggable icon script on it. Draggable robopart. Is draggable robopart a draggable icon? No, it's got its own implementation there. Right, figure this one out. So I'm just trying to check if I've missed something. Another component, which I guess should be required for draggable icon if it does require that. There are those errors coming from the library that I'm using. Okay. Yeah, so what do we got here? Got a draggable icon script and a command brush script. It's got an image. And raycast target is checked. Connection point. Here's an image. Sprite renderer. Oh, No, maybe that's the problem. Craft node has an image. Yeah, I think I put the wrong thing here. Whoa. Cool. So I just got a giant square on here or something. So let's put circle on here. No? There is no circle. These are all enormous. Knob. There we go. A knob is going to be probably my closest thing. Raycast target, yes. Let's just grab that color. Grab the hex value of that. And paste that in there. There we go. And I'm going to get rid of that sprite renderer. Yep. Now let's try this scale down at something smaller than 35, like 1, for example. That's pretty good. And then, oh, too far away. So I went about like that. So I could pretty much go stretch. And now we're looking pretty good. I think a smidge bigger. I'll probably make a proper sprite for this at some point. But yeah, just something like that is probably going to do for now. I suspect that might work now because it actually has a the right kind of image that can accept the raycast click. I have a small amount of cake here. Aha, there we go. Yes, we are in business. So that's good. Just saving up here. And just do something secret over here, I think. Will I? I don't know. Oh, hop out of the way. Got other things to do. What was the last commit I made? Oh, I cleaned up old robot animations. It's kind of at a point where I kind of want a bit of a save point. There we go. All right. Now, let's go dark mode. Cool. All right. Now then. Where was I? So that's draggable. Did I make that draggable? I should. Because they're going to be moved around. So I think put that on there for now. And I'll just see how that goes. Make sure that works before I proceed. So basically I should be able to get those moving around. Someone else gets to go to all the parties, but then they bring back cake, so that's cool. This should be able to move. And that should, so that's good. That script that I made before. Drag a icon is focused enough, but that does just snap back to where it was. Which isn't quite what I want. I do want it for this, if it doesn't land on something. But for this one, I do want it to just stay. So I think we can customize that script. So we'll grab draggable icon and let's just give it a way to customize that. That will be just a boolean and return to drag origin. Snap back on drop. Default true because that's what we already do. So I'm still going to capture that original position, but it's just this bit here. Nope, that is not how you position your hand on the keyboard. That's what happens when you've got cake and tea here and you can't just put your hands in the right spot. I'm also kind of sitting at a weird angle like this. So I should just get that kind of sorted out. There, so if snap back on drop, transform the position equals original pose. Sounds good. All right. Alrighty. So that means I should be able to come in here now and turn that off for this. The light is not sufficient in here to tell what's icing and what's cake because they're a similar color. I kind of want to get a mix. Okay. Let's grab it. I'm going to put that draggable icon up there, that script. Snap back on drop. No. That really needs a description, doesn't it? When drooped, no, dropped. I can phrase this better. Return to the drag start position on drop. There. Should be good. Okay, so now that that is true, I have to wait for a recompile. These recompiles are really annoying. It'd be nice to find something that doesn't do that. I have a game in mind that I'm not sure Unity would be the best tool for, and or the best engine for. I've been kind of just picking up Unity by default because I know enough about it that I can just start building things. And that's kind of more important for the scale of games that I've been trying to make. But I've got one that might be a fair amount bigger. And the amount of time that I would save potentially by having an engine that's better suited to the style of game it is and to development workflow. I think I just said half of a thought. Yeah. If having the right engine saves me more time over the course of development than the time it takes to learn a new engine and whatever else I need, then it's worthwhile. All right, as long as it doesn't slow things down so much that I have trouble gaining momentum. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, now if I move this around, I do want those connection points to move with it. So I think that means I gotta get that to the right spot. Like, say that goes right there. There. No, can't quite get it. There. It doesn't matter if I get the exact. Excuse me. Okay. There. Now it's got its connection point, and that should probably be nested underneath, like there. So I've got my graph node, its sprite, and the connection point is under the sprite. No, don't be under it. Be on the same level as it. There. Now, is that going to be a problem? There, so that drags the whole lot. Connection point with the object. That drags just the connection point. And it snaps back into place. And no, I'm pretty good. Oh yeah, that's an interesting point. The way this click and drag works, it's setting the position to the mouse position. But if I grab it by the corner, oh, that didn't even work. It's snapping to the center of the mouse. I think that's fine. That's the difference between here using the pointer drag, where I just get the pointer position and set it there, or use the offset. So using offset to get the position, that's basically looking at the event data and looking at the delta, so how much it moved. But then I have to do some pixel calculations based on the screen size in order to get the offset. And then I can add the offset onto this transform position. So that's like the previous transform position. Add the offset and get that back. The advantage of that is that it doesn't matter where my mouse lands on that, that's where it will be stuck onto there. But I could probably do the same thing with mouse position and just getting the offset between the mouse position and the other position, which means I've got that, but on begin drag, what I could do is get like an offset for where the cursor, where on this icon cursor grabbed, something like that. And so I could just do something like grab plus offset from center, something like that. I might think of a better name, and then grab is not, that's not a word. This equals, all right, so basically I think if I get that, that's going to be not from offset, sorry, from pointer. Yeah, that should be fine. I'm going to use this. Oh no, it needs event data. And I don't have an event. Or do I? Maybe I do have an event. Pointer event data, hey? Oh, I do have a pointer event data. Okay, so that should give me that position, and then I've got like original pos, and I want a vector here. So that's actual new real background, but it has been accidentally drawn on. So let me make a proper background, proper actual new real background. Oh, that was a background. Yeah, we'll make this a background as well. Full opacity. Okay, so we've got our background here. I'll get my, that one is actually called bots routine design, routine graph design. Okay, so now I've got a proper background. Oh, that's also part of it. Cool. So I'll grab our background and paste some stuff on there. If you haven't seen the Brack show, do, because it's fun. Oh hey, Bearded Titan Paul. The current time is 6 minutes after your message. So if you're still there, hey-oh. If not, sorry, I didn't get chat notifications working properly. I blame, well, no, I shouldn't just go blaming people for things. I think it's a bit of a strange omission that Restream chat does not have some kind of way to make the chat messages make a noise so that I notice them. Well, this bit of the cake is not edible. The only problem with the cake fork is, are you supposed to eat all the crumbs? Maybe you're not supposed to eat cakes with crumbs. I don't know. I don't know etiquette. All right. So I've got a background here. So instead of drawing on it, I'll make another layer. And this is just some more vector stuff. So vectors are a lot easier to understand if you draw them. So let's say I've got, let's go that color. Let's not use the paint bucket. So I've got my icon here, and there it is. Now I've got my cursor, and it clicks. That's the cursor. It clicks right here. So that's 1 point. But the center of that icon is here. So what I want to do is get a vector in between those two. And vectors have a direction, so it's either going to be like that, or it could be the opposite. It could be like that, depending on which one I subtract from which one. And which do I want? It sort of doesn't matter. It just means, am I going to add or subtract it from something later? And I think I'm going to add it. So basically, I'm going to have the cursor position. And that's what I want to use to position this when I'm moving it around. And I just want to add something to that that'll get me to there. So that means this is the one I want. So I want to go from here to here. And the way that vector mathematics works is, let's say that this was, let's say just here was the origin, 0, 0. That means all the vectors are expressed in terms of which way they are from origin, right? How much vertical and horizontal offset they have from that. That's interesting. Oh, right. I thought something weird had gone in that had gone white when I'd drawn pink, but it's just some of the click confetti. Oh, cool. Bearded Titan Paul, you're still there. What's up? I'm going to assume that's a question, even though it doesn't have a question mark. Oh, so many things are up. I'm glad we can start this therapy session at last. Well, I'm working on a robot game, and I'm working on this, getting this thing where you basically drag around different things to program your robots. Then they spawn from the factory and the program is locked in and they'll follow it. They've been basically just following a linear routine here. So actually, if I could close that and let me just click on when this one spawns, I think that'll be a good time as long as this thing doesn't kill it. What is it? Double shielding thing. Yeah, so you can see here it's just following the steps in order. So it just does turn right, walk forward, turn left. Well, it walked into a wall, so that wasn't so good. Let's try this here. They're all doing the same thing at the moment. Walk forward, turn left, walk forward, turn right, walk into a wall. But you can program them to do other things. So let's say we don't want this one turning around. Let's give this guy some lasers. Give him some cheaper legs, because who would want to... These legs are cheaper, but they don't let you turn. It's just like a bicycle wheel. So we got walking forward. Let's do firing some lasers. There we go. So now we got a different routine. We got this bot here, and it's going to go pew, 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 pew. I should make some sound effects. It's not going to have much luck against that wall since it's invincible, but it's going to try, and then it's going to explode. But that's basically what's happening right now, but it really needs to be more like this. It needs to sort of start, in this example, it would start its routine, take a step forward. That's just a marker that it can come back to later. They would have an enemy sensor. If it doesn't sense an enemy, it would just walk forward, use its shield, if it had one. Otherwise, it would just malfunction because it has no shield. And then it would loop back around to check the enemy sensor again. So basically, it would just take a step forward, shield, keep checking for enemies. Once it detects an enemy, then it would sort of have two different things. So this is assuming there's a second sensor, which is checking if there's anything directly in front of it that it could collide with. If there is, then it'll just put up a shield. So that way, if the enemy walks forward, the enemy will hit the shield. and not the bot. If the enemy's not directly in front of it, fire the laser twice. And so that's what that example shows. So I've basically been playing around with the library that is drawing these connections between here, and I'm going through some. Where are we? Here. So I'm basically kind of going through getting different things working. So I do have the connection point snapping into position, actually. I haven't got it doing anything when there's a target, but I'll deal with that when I've got it. There we go. So the next thing actually on the list is to add a drop point. But anyway, first I was just fixing up a little thing, which is the positioning. You probably saw me start talking about that, where right now if you grab it on the corner, start dragging, it'll snap the center of it to the cursor position instead of just moving it from where it is. Really annoying if you're trying to do like a find, like let me just move this 3 pixels to the left, and oh, it's just jumped down there. So now it's like I've lost where it was. Not too big a deal for this purpose, but it's still just annoying and not necessary. So vectors. This is sort of a way that you can look at vectors to kind of get them right every time. So that's how those two vectors are being expressed. Like that's the vertical and horizontal. That'll be the two numbers in a vector 2. And then this vector here, we can just move the base of this vector to here, and it'll be about like that. So that's the one we want. So how can we get to there using these two? Basically, we could take this one here and just shift it across to there. So let's probably should have picked some different colors. Let's say let's use green for that one. Cool. Yep, that's a really straight vector. Needs a bit of hammering on the anvil. But if we just move that vector straight over here and flip it, so negative it, then from there to there and there to there brings us to from here to here, from here to here. By a bit of a roundabout way, but that's, you add these two vectors to get the, well, no, yeah, you add this vector and you get this vector. So the vectors I'm adding are the position and the negative of the cursor position. So basically I want to get negative cursor position. And so that's what I'll do. So right here, we've got, that's the cursor position. So we want to subtract that from the original position, which is transform.position. And that'll give us an offset that we can use. And then here, we're getting the position that we want to work with. But if it is the pointer one, then we just want to add that vector. I think we do just here. Add that offset. Okay, so that might fix that problem. Left it in play mode. So we'll just take that out of play mode so it'll compile. And here we go. Yeah, I haven't fully decided. Like I think it kind of makes sense as a 2-player, or more than 2 if you had the factories in different places, because it's like an arms race with your robots, trying to give them configurations and programming that'll counteract whatever your enemy's throwing at you, and then try and respond to their changes. But it could also be sort of environment. Okay, let me try grabbing that over here. Ooh, interesting. Not sure if that was quite on target, but that could have just been like a lag related thing, especially having this magnifier open. That tends to be a bit slowing things down. Whoa, got something in my eye. That's what I get for doing like yard stuff today, I guess. Or maybe it's cake. Okay. So, oh yeah. That thing was moving with this because I'd nested it in there, but I'd done that in play mode, so it stopped as soon as I unnested it. Ooh. No, that looked janky. Let's see. Let's get that bit of... No, I'll go for this bolt just here. So I've got that. And yeah, no, that's not... It's not working so nicely, is it? Oh, because I'm using the pointer position. Yeah, no, oops. I made a mistake with this. How long have I been working on this game? Good question. There are two answers, and I don't know either of them. But I could figure it out. So, how many weeks have I been working on it? I could look back at my streams and see when I first started prototyping this. And then from that, I could probably figure out. So I'd be spending about maybe 5 hours a week total. So let me see. Hang on. I should kind of have this written down or something somewhere. Oh yeah, I think my VODs are only saved on YouTube at the moment because it's just a lot more convenient to get them saved on Twitch. I have to like manually do something. So I'll have a quick look. I really should put things in playlists. Wait, are my VODs even going up at the moment? Oh yeah, it looks like they are. So when did it start saying robot game? I sort of thought, I'll just quickly prototype this. There we go. 2 months ago. So I guess I've been working on it for a couple of months. That is a funny sprite. Sorry, when I say that it's a funny sprite, I'm talking about, of course, this is sprite, because those 2 pixels there just make it hilarious. So, yeah, 2 months ago, does it say what 2 months ago means? Because I got a bunch of things that were 2 months ago. How many weeks does that mean? Really? You're just saying 2 months ago? Can you say a date? I hate this UI that simplifies everything so much that, there we go, 15th of June. So that was some amount of time ago. Let's have a look. Where's dates? Here we go. So 15th of June, so that was like some weeks. Yeah, about 10 weeks. There you go. So, guess about 50 hours. Wow, it really adds up. Just doing something regularly kind of adds up over time. Yeah. So that's pretty much 100% like of what I've done on this game has been on stream, including figuring out how it should even work. I just basically had like a thing I jotted down that said game idea, programmable robots, and some sticky notes about different things. And yeah, I think I've kind of put together most of that stuff. This, whoops, took some paint off the wall. I'll just repaint it eventually. All right. Yeah, it's amazing. It doesn't feel like that long. I mean, it kind of depends because I usually get maybe 1 to 2 hours on a stream. Sometimes I lose track of time and then it's longer. I try not to do that though because I need sleep. Okay, so basically what I've got is the pointer position and I want to get this vector here. And so, yeah, instead of subtracting that vector, I actually want to go this way. Let's grab another color. I've used all the colors. No, I haven't. Orange. All right, so basically we want that vector there. So how are we going to get that? And that's going to be this vector here. Positioned there. Oh. And pointing the other way. So we actually want to minus the transform dot position. So, I mean, I probably could have done that just by going, oops, it's backwards, and coming up here and flipping that. There we go. The annoying thing when you're dealing with like drag and drop, anything related to that, if you get your vectors wrong, it might look like it works fine or pretty close to fine until you actually get something very wrong. No, I think I say no. If you're somewhere near the center, you won't notice it, but then the further away from the center you get, the more you'll notice. Okay, I'm going to try this little bolt here. Oh, we gone to the opposite. Well, still got it wrong. Wait. Yeah, that's doing weird stuff. If I go right in the center, that's not too bad, but still not quite right. Did I still get that wrong? I'm here. I want to get this. I should be getting the pointer position because that's the position I'm getting. And I want to offset from the pointer position. That'll give me where that should be. So if the pointer is in the same position, it should be, then this should be in the same position. So it is that vector that I want. So it should be transform position minus pointer position. To get the offset. Oh, wait. So there's my transform position. And there's my pointer position. But then, oh, okay. Yeah, I see the problem. I shouldn't be adding that on in here when I'm using that in here. That's the problem. So I might just not add that in there. And maybe just use it here. There. So that might fix that up. I would really love to have this be able to stay in play mode, update some code, and have the updated code just go into the game and work. The workflow would be much better. I can see why it it's difficult to do that, but if I find an engine that can do that, I could see myself using that engine just for that feature alone. Okay, now what was I doing? Dragging this thing by the corner. Let's try it by that corner. It seems to be working. Oh, this corner here. Okay, and that corner there. It's sort of working. Problem is, oh, that's broken something. Are these there? Draggable icon. No reference exception. 1, 2, 3. Trying to get an image component and set the gradecast target. And it's failing. Wait, that's a connection manager. Routine graph, that's the graph node that I was moving. Button dragging and draggable icon script. Oh, I see. If that's not on the image, so here's the actual image. But we don't want to move that image around. We want to move the graph node around. So the reason that image is nested in there is basically just to allow positioning and scaling it independent of the graph node, so I can kind of tighten up the bounds, etc. Basically, because I've picked a sprite here that has got all this extra space around and so on, which is why these connections are connected like to the edge of this image where all this here is transparency. So I don't need that to happen. That was just something to make it look okay visually. So this connection point, it'll have the same issue where it's got an image nested. And I guess the thing there means that the reason that it sets the raycast target to true and it sets it to false on start drag is because if I drag this and drop it on something, that drop will do a raycast, and instead of the raycast hitting the target where it's dropped, you know, some kind of object behind there that will detect the drop, instead it will hit this, and so it gets blocked basically. So you do need to turn off that as a raycast target if it is being moved, which this is. So that's the thing. So I think I'll get that back to the top level and just save that because it's got a asterisk, and you know this cause anxiety, right? All right. So I think I've got my sprites for command bots right here. That's a PNG. That's not what I want. Sprites.a sprite. Here we go. There are my sprites. And let's make a few new ones. So just make a new frame here. We won't keep that. And let's just kind of start from scratch with something. And I'll just jump over to grab those things. I think I could just merge that down. There we go, so that layer on its own has what I want. Yeah, so I think I'd considered a bunch of different things, but this is not going to be final art that I'm making. I'm just going to make something basic. So I think I'll go for like a sensor, a circle for the sensor, for a decision node, which at the moment there's going to be mainly some kind of sensor or something that's like, you know, current hit points threshold or something like that. So I'll make a circle, and then for the commands, like the actions, I think I'll use the same icons that I've already got, but I will make, I'll slice them smaller. So, yeah. Actually, I bet rather than make any new sprites at this juncture, just minimize that, and I will just slice my sprites a bit better. So I've got my sprites here. Let me just jump into Sprite Editor. And like here, so I've got a sprite that sort of has the laser positioned in the correct default position for the robot. Same with the shield, I think. And then I've got a version where it's just cut close. I've called that shrink wrapped. So basically, I just get a new area. If I tried to drag that here, it would just drag the existing sprite. There we go. So this one here is called icon walk forward. And how can I select that one? I can't because this one's in the way. I'll just move that out of the way. And it definitely wasn't optimized for overlapping sprites. There we go, shrink wrapped. I'll do. Now I'll grab that back to there. Yeah, I guess that's the other way I could do that. It's just there. Icon turn left. Technically I need to do one, but I just want to do all of them on here. Probably that one. I kind of am aware that just using colored squares or something would be a little bit better for getting things up and running quicker, but I could never quite bring myself to just work with that. I should at some point. What's this one called? Icon block. Okay. Yeah, I think we got one more, which is this long block. Which I don't know if I'll keep because I think having block just be able to have a duration would be good, or if you just do multiple blocks in a row, just have the shield stay up. That's the other option. Cool. Okay. So I think that's all nice and done. So if I apply that and close that sprite editor, now I should have those sprites available. So now, while I remember, I'll actually grab the connection point back in here. Change this to be icon. No, I'm not going to change that to be icon, really, am I? Oops. Icon block shrink wrapped. Let's go with icon block shrink wrapped, and I'll just go fix this. So it should be block long shrink wrapped. There. Okay, good. So now I've got my graph node. I've got that there, which I need to copy component, and I'll just paste that component right up here on the graph node. I think I could just do that here, right? Yeah, so now we've got the image on there. We don't need this at all. Just got to make sure this is a raycast target, which it is. And now that's actually looking pretty good. I've got a scale of 1, particular width and height. It's really weird, widths and heights. Anyway, that's fine. So now that shouldn't have that issue. Connection point is going to have that issue. So I'll just do the same thing here. Copy the component, paste it up here. So really, draggable icon should require component image. Raycast padding. Left. What? If the width is 35. Yeah, there's that raycast padding. That's visible. Good. I'll just shift it across to like there. And we should be all right with the same but negative on that side. No, not negative because we're talking about padding. What am I talking about? So probably the same on all sides. Yeah, that looks decent. Just, oh, that's annoying. So even though the raycast padding means that you can't click and drag it when you're outside of that area, we are getting our line connecting to that end. like to that edge of this thing. Again, not actually an issue, right? Because I could just make my own thing there. The scaling, no, see, that scales this whole thing. And it's basically just because the source image has padding on there. Let me have a look back at this editor. I've got that. I wonder if there's somewhere I can just get a little bit of something to use as a sprite. I'll just get a bit of the explosion. That'll be cool. Let's get that bit. We'll call it connection. It's 8 by 8. That'll do. Sophisticated high-tech sprites here. Here we use connection. There we go, perfect. Look at that. So fancy. Needs more stuff. And by more, I mean less raycast padding now. Do I know C# good? Sort of. So in my day job, I'm using TypeScript at the moment. I've used a bunch of different languages in different roles, and I haven't used C# in any of them. So as far as knowing off the top of my head all of the different standard library function names and things like that, not so good. As far as understanding how the language works, pretty decent, because it sort of shares a lot with a bunch of other languages. Knowing how the type system works, knowing how things like access levels and so on works, there's not that much unique stuff outside of those to know when you're talking about C-style languages. But yeah, I've been using it for years and years, but the amount that I've actually just written code in C#, would probably be less than sort of 2 years full-time worth of total time. Would it? I don't know. Maybe a little more than that. So, yeah, you'll often see me just look things up to just check, what's the name of a function, or if I'm doing something with a collection, what collection do I want to use? Where if I'd been using C# in my day job for 5 years, I probably wouldn't. But yeah, TypeScript's an interesting one. It's basically JavaScript, but with a type system that was added to make it seem a lot more like C#, but it still just runs JavaScript under the hood. So it's I've got that being reddened. That's why that's so dark. Yeah, but much better than just running plain JavaScript, because you actually have some form of static type checking, which just eliminates a whole class of potential errors that you can have. Okay, so now my connection point looks very different, but it lives under there, and we shouldn't have that error anymore. And I need to check back here and see what I was actually doing. Oh yeah, so so I was just sort of doing an aside here of fix, drag, drop. Fix, drag, positioning. I possibly shouldn't have done that because it ended up taking longer than I thought. The problem, here's the problem. You might be able to see. So if I click, let's say I click on this corner here and then start dragging down. Right, so I'm on that corner, click, drag down. So you can see it's grabbed somewhere other than where I had clicked, and I think that's because like I click there and then I start to drag. Actually it doesn't seem to matter how fast I do it. So if I click here, start dragging, that didn't even work. That did. It seems like there might be some delay in starting drag. So it slides for a little while. So I can start right up on that top corner of that, and I might have just missed. Yeah, it's like in the center of it by the time I do that. If I start in the center, now it's like at the edge. So I think I liked the thing where it just snaps to the center a bit better. But I wonder if that's because it's not counting as a drag until it's moved a certain distance, or it could be something where like it's registering the initial position late. So by the time it gets to the drag start event, it's getting a different offset. I'm not sure. Now that's not even dragging. Am I getting bugs anymore? Those are unrelated. They're coming from a different library. Oh, now it worked. There, that's just not working. Oh, is that because by the time I get off there, I'm not like ready to drag anymore? That will drag. Interesting. Right. Yeah, it doesn't seem to matter which way I go. It's still like, it's not like just offsetting by a certain amount because of the something to do with the cursor position. Now it's stopped working at all. All right, let me check that. In the scene, so this is our object here. Hello. There. Okay, do we have an image? Yes, we do. It is a raycast target. That was one of the things, that was what I wanted to check there. It's like, raycast target, yes. And I should preserve aspect on that. That's what I was looking for before. Okay, connection point. This one is a raycast target. So I don't see any reason why that wouldn't work. I'm trying to click it and drag it. Now it worked. Drag, 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 drag. Yeah, it seems like sometimes it just doesn't want to drag. And oh, okay. I think I figured it out. If it is behind there, and this has a transparent area that is getting the raycast click. So basically, I've just got something overlapping it. So unrelated to the to that, it's just behind something. And if I just go into the prototype for a graph node, and that is like that. I think I just apply all overrides to that. Now it will be more like that. So yeah, that should actually prevent those having that issue. Oh, you got to go. You might have said that in the past. Thanks for stopping by. 2 minutes in the past. What is the time? Oh, geez, I actually should go too. I was hoping to get through this whole list, but I kind of went on a bit of an aside there. Well, I didn't really fix that positioning, did I? I just got it. There we go, sort of fixed. Anyway, drop point. That's the thing to do. That detects the connection. So basically something like mount point. So something with a rect transform and a handler. I'm going to make another image in here, which is the bit where the thing connects onto. So I'll grab myself another like 8x8. How'd I go? Oh, 7x7. Should lose my pixel art license. I don't know the size of a pixel. Okay, what does that connect onto? See if I can find something that looks like it would be the other side of that plug. As long as they look different, that's fine. Let's go with that. And we'll name that something. This is input. Input target. I'll make real sprites for these at some point. But for now, that'll do. All right, so I'll grab the same graph node. So I'll just make multiple of these. And we've got a connection point here. I'm going to add a new UI image, and we'll call that like input target. And we'll choose input target. And we'll do something more like that. This is game mode. Scene view. Put that over here. Now, let me just refer to this for a second. So these guys have pretty much everything will have a single input. Oh, yeah. You can have multiple arrows going to something, but it's still a single input that's just receiving. No, it's not receiving signals. This is just for directing to something. So this, I think, doesn't actually need to disconnect. In fact, I don't know if I even need a separate target, or because this whole thing could be the drop target. But I think this would be better for, well, I might end up with a sprite for this that has the connection point on it. We'll see. All right. So that's called input target. It's got an image. It's a raycast target. And now we're going to need something. So routine graph. Let's make something for that. So grab a script here, and that will be for input drop target. So that's what this thing will have on it. Just one of those things. You haven't finished compiling it, hey? Compile errors. There shouldn't be any compile errors in something I just named. Or are there compile errors somewhere else? I have a feeling what happened is that just hadn't been compiled yet. Was not part of the assembly. And then Unity, just started making stuff up. So once again, let's see if I can attach that onto there. There we go, we've got an input drop target. And my note says, look at mount point. So, sure. Where is my thing? Blueprint editor. Mount point. UI. Alright, drop handler. Got these to make it highlight on enter and exit. And it is a thing that can have a thing in it. That's fine. I think I really just need an iDrop handler. I would need it to be an iDrop handler. So we'll do that, make an iDrop handler. Okay, and then that requires us to implement something. There we go, we've got our onDrop, and instead of just throwing an exception, I'll actually do something. So this one onDrop is doing this. So I think that's kind of the sort of thing we're looking to do. But we don't want a draggable river part. This one works with draggable icon. Just do that. And then at this point, I think we just want to make sure it is like an output connector. I should make a part, make a class represent that. Yeah, maybe class or interface. So instead of trying to get a draggable icon, I would try and get specifically an output connector. But I think what is it called? Connection point. Let's change it from connection point to be called output connector. There we go. So that for now will serve to give us a proper check. Sure. If that probably is not equal to then again log a warning. There we go. Now if something that's wrong gets dropped on there, it will say so. And now at this point, this is where I want to connect from output, basically change second point of connection to be this thing's parent graph node, except if that would be connecting to itself. So basically, you shouldn't be able to drop this onto that on the same one of these. How can I do that? This graph node, do I have a script? Just drag the icon, and that's all. Right now, the routine graph manager is just where I've been playing around with this. So, what am I doing here? I'm basically just doing a bunch of stuff on start. Okay, so we need connection manager. Yes, that'll be so what I need is the relevant rect transforms. So, okay, I've got dropped object. So this is a graph node. That's a graph node. This thing isn't a graph node. So I'm looking for graph nodes. but I mainly need the rect transform of the graph nodes. Okay, so this is going to be output connector. And then we need the output node. So that's going to be this thing that has the output. Output connector. Oh, yeah, dot parent. So we know they're just directly nested on there. Yeah. Transform. So I guess I need to do a get component vector transform. That transform is a vector transform. But this is just a way that will give it to me as a vector transform, not just a generic transform. Yep. Okay, so that's the two. It's basically that bit and that bit. So I also want the node that's joined onto, assuming that's a different node. It's basically we're in the drop target. There we go. So I can do that little check if I think I might have these named kind of backwards. I'll output the name, so that'll give us something we can match up in the hierarchy. So if all of that has happened now, basically go for an output to an input. But the thing is, like, if I got, say, this node, so we're going from here to here, then that's like the output, and it's going to here, but it's inputting a signal, but it's the output of that one. So I guess if you're talking about the connection, then out of here into there. Yeah, no, that still kind of makes sense. I can go see that it works backwards as well, like could be interpreted backwards. So basically now we want to be like, can I just like replace output connector with input node in the connection? Would that work? Okay, so we're looking for that connection that's from the output connector. To output connector rather, from output node. Now, can that connection be modified? We've got the points. Can I modify those? Or do I need to do something? I have a PDF from this library. Okay, can we finish them? Let's see. Yeah, I don't think that's really telling us much. Yeah, I guess I'll just try it. That's an array of connection point. I don't know if that's actually doing much. Oops. So I'll try this here. I could remove the connection and just add a new one. Yeah, let's add connection. Just add that. Create. We've got find connection, find connections. A bunch of standard mono behavior things. Remove connection. What is the difference between remove connection and delete connection? Remove connection. To use the property here, we don't want to create an instance and a scene loads. If the connection isn't null, and the instance isn't null, instance.connection.remove C. Okay, what about delete? Create. It instantiates a connection. And sets the targets on it. Oh, connection.setTargets. I think that's what I want. So if I've got that connection, yeah. Okay, we basically want to go from output node, which it already should, to not output connector, but actually input node. Okay, I mean that should do the trick, I think. I just need to update the prefab to match. Just here. Apply all those. And we'll do this. Oh, hello. Quimitter. Let's see. You only just sent that message very recently. I'm an expert at noticing a message. Hello, how are you? I meant to finish up by now, and I did not finish up yet. But, yeah, well, there you go. I'm messing with this connection manager. Apparently I forgot to change the size of that. But I need to scale that back. So basically I've got this thing, and if I drop it on here, it should make a connection to there. And if it didn't, I maybe coded it wrong. $42, hey? Set targets, output node, input node. Do we not have a connection? So I tried to find a connection from there to there. And apparently it didn't come back with anything. Unless it was complaining about output node or input node being null. I don't think so. So we didn't have a connection. Oh, these vector transforms. Yes. So we're dropping it on input drop target, which seems like that's correct for input node. I guess that's a place I can debug. I just mean log debug message. Yeah, I guess I can just put the names of some things in here. Let's say output node dot name. Output connector dot name. Input node dot name. Okay. And it would be really nice to have like just a connection. See if anything gets output there. Because from what I dropped on where, I don't have any reason to think that wouldn't have worked. It did run, and it did get to there, so it did get past this, and so on. All the way down to there. Well, it's late here. Quimitter, is it late over wherever you are? Or is it early? Or somewhere in between? I guess it also depends what you consider late. I'm going to try dropping doing this over here on that. There, so we've got routine graph editor, output connector, and graph node clone. So I think that routine graph editor is the issue. That's the first thing, that's the output node. And yeah, that's not what we got. No. I don't know why that's wrong. This is wrong because while dragging, things are pointed to the canvas. It's just side effect of drag and drop stuff. So instead, basically, what I probably want to do is go output connector. Yeah, so we can't look at the parent of that output connector because it's been changed. So I think we need to find a connection that is related to that. So I think we need to find all the connections for output connector. So that should give us something like an array of connections, a list of connections, yeah. And it should be the first one. It should only ever have one connection. And connection dot points 0 dot C to B. Those are weird names. Color, direction, position, weight. These are vector 3s. What we want here is a rect transform. And I think I might not have it here. So maybe it's not points. Target. That is the targets. So to do in the code. Okay, is that rect transforms? Yeah. So that should be output node now. Now we've already got that connection. Cool. So we should be able to now set it like that. See if that works. Morning there. Yes. I don't wish it was morning here. For a moment I thought I wish it was morning here. It'd be nice to be not tired. Like, I might be a bit tired in the morning, but Not the kind of tired where you need sleep. It's the kind of tired where I wish I had a little more sleep. But on the other hand, as soon as this morning, there's other stuff I need to do. So I wouldn't be able to be working on the game. So a bit glad that it's not morning. Okay, drop this on here. We now have a connection from there to there, and that has snapped back where it was. And that can be dragged. So it's weird to me that this has not picked up the size. Oh, wait. Is there a reason it hasn't? No. Anyway, that is successful. I've still got this thing. I can still drag it, and it's going to completely explode the code. Let's have a look. Yep, there we go. Argument out of range. And that's because basically there was not a connection on it. So when it's getting... Yeah, it's finding connections. There are none. So, yeah, I need to write more code that fixes that. So that basically needs to get disabled at that point. Output connector. Game object dot set active false. There we go. So it just shouldn't have that anymore when we're connected, and then basically when you disconnect that, I guess another option here would be let's set it to be a disconnect button or something. Or another completely different approach. When you drop the output connector on the drop target, and it snaps to the target and stays there. The target as parent. That would basically be kind of how plugging in a thing works in real life. I think I like that better. But anyway, I've shown that I can get a connection working, so that's good. So that's done in input. Drop target. Change connection to go to target node on drop. Well, I did that. Make it work the other way around too. Drag from input to related output, question mark. I think not, actually. Instead, make it work like output connector plugs in to input. See that, because that means that then you can just drag it off to unplug it, and if you let go of it once it's been unplugged and it's no longer over the top of that, that's when it should sort of snap back to that position or animate back to the position relative to the other thing. Basically like the cable's been reeled in, and it wouldn't even have to go directly. So yeah, but it's getting pretty late for me, so I think I better leave this until next time. So it looks pretty ugly. I'm going to actually, before I stop there, I just I want to figure out why are those things losing their aspect ratio. So got this graph node. It says no overrides. Let's have a look at the prefab. We're talking about routine graph, graph node, prefab. Here we go. We've got something weird going on. Preserve aspect. I wonder how many pixels that actually is. Is there an option for? There you go, that's the native size. 54 point. What? That's weird. Anyway, that's about right. That should fix that issue where the new ones being added were all kind of wonky. So, yeah, it's a bunch of work to do with getting these things to draw on the graph correctly. But I should be able to plug that to there. And now that's disabling, which is fine for now. So not that, but we'll go H. I'll work all that out later. I was just thinking if I got multiple outputs going to an input, it'd be good to have a way to distinguish between which input you want to unplug. A problem for another day or another night where I'm not so tired. I've had more sleep, which probably would be related. Okay. Still haven't got something worth building a new build for. It's not really in any enhanced state as far as actual functionality because I've just been working out how to make this work. So I won't put up a new build, but you could play the latest working one at there. I could probably, hang on, that's the wrong hand. There, here, this is where it is. Okay, right here. Just look for command bots there, and I believe the link is in the description. Well, thank you for watching. I've been me, David from FertilePixel, and I'm tired. I'm going to bed. Have a good night or morning, as the case may be.